Hey everyone, today we're going to look at Pear Vocab. Okay, so it's super easy and super fun, and my students really like it. So if you look right here, you see this little green box that says Pear Vocab. We're going to click on Create a Vocab List. It'll load, and it looks very much like Quizlet, where you can type your term in, and then you can find your definition. So I'm going to type in jubilant, and I click on definitions. Oops. If there's none, check your spelling because it usually has a definition. There you go. Feeling or expressing great joy. Great. And I'm going to add another term, exuberant. I'll click for a definition. And I'm going to get joyously, unrestrained, and enthusiastic. So I would continue to add my terms as I needed to. You can sort them A to Z if you want. And we're going to go on from here. So we're going to now play with our students. So the first thing you do is click Play Flashcard Factory. And it's going to tell you that to see it in your projector, and then you're going to ask your students to join just like you would any other Pear deck. So once your students join, you're going to see that 2 workers joined and you can move on. So if you scroll down a little bit, you can hit clock in. And what's going to happen is it's going to divide us into groups. So you'll have more students here, and you'll have more students in your day shift and more students in your night shift. What it does beyond that is it puts you in pairs. So you have groups of pairs, okay? So I will work with my friend or my peer so I can create a note card, and the note card has a drawing and an example on it, and it's a text example. You can also prompt them to use the text feature of the drawing if your words are a little bit hard, and they can do synonyms or write an example sentence or anything that you can think of. So this does a couple things. It gets them talking about the vocabulary. It gets them applying it in a drawing and applying it in a sentence or an example. That's 3 times out of the 7 it needs to get into their short-term memory. So it kind of gets them really experiencing the word as opposed to just looking at it and guessing for the definition. So in order for them to kind of talk about it, I would put my students in breakout rooms so that they could talk about it. And you know if they're working, if the flashcards are coming in. So let's take a look at that aspect. Or here we are in the factory place, and this is where your flashcards come in. So students are working on their flashcards. That means that they're drawing or they're putting in some examples, and then you'll have some to review. As the students send in their terms, you'll see this number grow. So you'll have 2 out of 2 when you have an example for each one. Each student will work on the same one. So you'll have multiple examples for each one, which I think is really good because when you go to assess them, they're seeing it, they're assessing the definition, they're looking to see if it's created correctly, and so on. So as you can see now, I have 2 note cards. 1 out of 2 terms is done, but for purposes of this little video, I'm going to move on to the quality control phase, which is the next phase. Okay, so here we are at quality control, and as you can see, you have the red button or the green button. So as a class, when you're reviewing this, it goes to the student's device also. So you can very easily have them kind of persuade the rest of the class to accept their card, or you can just go through and accept or reject the cards however you like. You know, so this one, I don't know that I would accept it because there's no capital T, there's no period, and I think that's less important. Maybe they could have done a better drawing, something like that, or you can just accept it because they used it in a correct way, and it kind of does what the purpose of this note card is, so you could accept it. When you click accept, they gain a point, and it goes into the next phase. Here's another one. I am exuberant. Does it really tell you what exuberant means? Sure, why not? But for our purposes, we're going to say reject it, and then you'll move on as soon as your 2 terms are done. So you have 1 little card in here, but that's okay. So you can click print set. What that does is it sends it out to a PDF for you so that you can give your students flashcards. They can cut them up. You can paste them into the Google Classroom. It's really awesome. When you click save, it'll just save. You can type it as vocab. And you can add it to your Google Classroom, like I said. You can go back. You can export it to Gimkit. when you click export to GimKit, you can title it, just say export, and you can add the link either to your Google Classroom, you can click share to Google Classroom, and it'll open. You can just find your Google Classroom and add it onto there. Or you can click go to set. Or you can go right to GimKit and you can log in. And you can click play. And it's that simple. So there's a lot here. I think that it's a really awesome activity. I know a lot of my students really like it. Once it comes out to the GimKit, it's just they're seeing it over and over again, and they're looking at the vocab, and they're really learning to use it or learning to identify what the word means, and then hopefully they can use it later.